Today we're doing a very special Sligo Show feature. There was a wonderful story in the local papers recently about some local people who have been helping out with the whole Ukraine crisis. And one of my guests today is only back from the Ukraine border. So I'm delighted to be joined today by Fergal Nealon, who a lot of us know from Story Tracks, the amazing storytelling app around Sligo. I'm sure we'll talk about that another day.
Another day. This is war. We're not for profit here.
No, absolutely. But
just,
people know the face. Yeah, and Sheila from the Sligo Food and Furniture Bank. So again, for anyone that doesn't know, Fergal, you're literally after coming back from the border of Ukraine. You went over there bringing actual real supplies, medical supplies. But where did this all begin? How did this whole connection start?
Yeah, so with Story Tracks, we engaged developers from Kharkiv in Ukraine. And over the past 2 years, I've been working with them. Great guys, got to know them well. They had to flee Kharkiv, obviously. It's one of the most war-torn areas of Ukraine, being on the border with Russia. Nazir fled to the Romanian border, so he got safe. Okay. Now, once he got safe, I think it was Tuesday. It was exactly this day 2 weeks back. Oh, right, okay. And I said, "What can we do to help? Now you're safe," and it literally just snowballed from there.
So you had not been involved in anything like this before? It's just your human connection via your work?
Yeah, so I don't have a humanitarian background. So I think it started, so they're connected with Telegram groups in the Ukraine, and Kharkiv hooked in with humanitarian aid groups. So he used, he's a young man, he's a pregnant wife, he doesn't want to pick up an AK-47 and face down the Russian military. So he said he'd use his computer skills to connect the medical requesters in the Ukraine and the hardest hit areas with supplies coming in from the west. Okay. So he already had a channel going on the Romanian border, which is where he was based. So I said, look, there's loads of Polish people in Sligo. Maybe we can find a channel from the Polish side to get the medicines to Kharkiv. So that's what we started working on. He connected me with a group on WhatsApp with Maxim Kostov, who's the head of the health department in Kharkiv. Maxim had many requests coming in. I didn't know where to start. But there was one that came in, I think, at the end of the first day. Was guys, he'd sent his list of prescription medicines he needed. He showed incubators after the maternity hospital was blown up. He says, guys, I've no more body bags. Yeah, we've run out of body bags to bury it. We can't even respectfully place the dead. So that was, I says, right. I said to Mark Walsh, I says, right, book the flights. We're getting these body bags some way, somehow. And luckily enough, in Sligo, we've David and Breach McGowan. And he happened to, I says, David, can you get me body bags? And he says, would you believe I used to be one of the biggest distributors of body bags in the Northwest? And I says, I'd well believe it, Dave.
Amongst many other things.
And he supplied us very generously with a pallet, over €4,000 worth of body bags. Wow. And then the next step was, okay, we need to maximise this load.
So you and Mark's another local business person. You said, well, let's gather all the stuff we can and we'll just bring it ourselves.
We'll bring it ourselves.
And you just didn't know how we were going to start. From day one, you go, we haven't done this before, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And you were arranging, obviously, the logistics for flights and cargo and whatnot.
Okay. So, and Mark allowed us use the Adelaide Casino as a war room as such. Wow. And then we got together with a neighbour of mine is Dr. Joanna Perlinski, who's a Polish GP. There's Peter Marin, who's logistics at Abbott, but he's ex-UNICEF. Sheila Scanlon came on board from Sligo Food Bank, who's like years of experience housing kids from Chernobyl. Okay. And Sheila's been fantastic in the administrative side of the ground. So we all got together. I'm sure I'm missing someone now, but we all got together, the pharmacies in Sligo, and packed up 400 kilograms of the maxed out luggage and more. But we said no Ryanair person is going to turn us away at the airport. And we triaged the goods. And then money started coming in for the medicines we could supply, which our Polish doctor Joanna could sort out with the pharmaceutical companies on the ground. And then literally, it was just snowballing. No door closed to us.
It's mad. Like you said, you have no background in this. It just shows you the human, the human heartfeltness of what you were doing. It was amazing. Yeah. So you got all the goods together, and logistically, how did you have trucks on the far side ready, or because this isn't your background,
not at all. And again, the connection with the transport came from the poker community. Okay. So as Mark helped us out with the casino, that was JP McCann, he's the biggest tournament director in Ireland. He runs the Irish Open and the Norwegian Poker Championships. And I rang JP. I saw he put a post up online. He's a massive Liverpool supporter. Okay. And I saw on his Facebook, he put a post up, why are you giving out about a game? There's people dying in the Ukraine. So I figured JP, I says, he's into this thing, and he'll have loads of people in Poland through dealers he's used with down through the years of poker players. Yeah. So JP connected me with a Marcin Jablowski in Poland, who was essentially a fixer. But by day, he's a CCO of a large gaming company, and he was connected to the poker community there through poker forums. So he had this large network of drivers that already delivered Finnish poker players, and poker communities from the Netherlands had already delivered 5 ambulances and raised tons of money. So we hooked into this network, and it's all, again, it's just direct action, because while we're waiting on the large humanitarian companies and your Red Cross, your UNICEFs, to play politics, which they have to, and I understand but that as you completely. Let's bypass. But there's people dying, so let's just instead of them spoon feeding us a solution, let's use people power, direct action, and get the goods where they're needed to go. So Marcin was our fixer on the ground. He picked us up at the airport with all this luggage. Now, by this stage, we'd convinced the Sunday Times to send a journo over with us.
Ah, okay. I was wondering where that link came in. It was an amazing article, actually.
Yeah, and I said, Bo, you're more than welcome to come along, but we need you to max out your Ryanair luggage so we can get,
you can come, but we're actually using it as well to bring your stuff.
We need 60 more body bags on.
Were you wearing big jackets and all this stuff and everything?
To get the more on. But so we maxed out the luggage, and Marcin met us there. And we met the pharmacist, and we got the body bags and much more to the border.
Wow. And on the border there, I mean, we only see it on telly. What's it like on the border at the moment? Is it chaos? Is it carnage? Is it thousands and thousands of people trying to get across, or what's it like to go and see it in the flesh?
Yeah, so there is thousands of people trying to get across from the Ukrainian to the Polish side. Chaos would be the furthest thing from it.
Right.
It's amazing how orderly it all is. When you're moving from the Polish side into the Ukraine, obviously there's a lot of soldiers, but essentially it's a desolate crossing. I described it last night as a closed down petrol station on the N17. Yeah. It's desolate, no problem going through. Once we could show them the document from Maxine and we had it stamped, we were red carpeted through. Okay. The Ukrainian drivers couldn't come to us though. So we're in the border channel and we're literally seeing them across the petrol station. We're blinking lights, they're blinking lights. They can't come because if they can't leave the country because they're over 18 male.
All right.
So we had to go to them and deliver. And we delivered the goods, and these lads, Alex and Taurus, would drive through the night 40 hours after they met us non-stop to get the goods to Kharkiv. And then we got this great picture of Maxine with the Irish flags, which we wrapped around the bags, and all the Sligo bags and the body bags in the pharmacy. So mission accomplished.
I know, amazing mission. And you picked up a very interesting passenger, which was a great piece in that Sunday Times article. A young kid from Tipperary who just decided, I'm going to fight the war.
Yeah. Look, he's a young man, first off. Yeah. A very proud, a very courageous man who knows. And he was firmly in his belief that, look, these guys don't have a choice. I have a choice. There's many Deans. We met at that petrol station, English lads. We met American lads that were completely unprepared, and we could see that with Dean. And he's acknowledged that since he was wearing his trainers, a hoodie. He had no phone on him.
And did he continue, or has he paused for a while, or have you been in contact with him? Or?
Yeah, so he was full on going. No doubt about that. Me and Mark were on either side. What really struck me and Mark, I think, when we had a moment was, listen, this is just like one of our mates when we grew up. He's just one of those guys that just, is he's a passionate guy, and he just needs to be pointed in the right direction. We worked away at him on the way to the border. We says, we don't want you to cross. You're not ready. You can give a lot, but maybe you could give a lot more with a different type of mission. Yeah. Or what turned it actually at the border, because it was very tense. By the time we got to the border, he was 50-50.
Right.
And now if he went in and signed up and got the gun, he was contractually wouldn't be allowed out of the country till the end of the war. So we're literally with him knowing that if he walked 20 metres that way, it's game over for Dean. Because he wouldn't have made it. Because actually there was a place bombed 200 20 kilometres from the border in Lviv there, 20k from the Polish border. That NATO place was training fighters, and apparently what I heard this morning on the radio was a lot of the Foreign Legion were killed in that bomb, which could easily be Dean, and if not, he'd be gone soon enough.
Yeah.
The way
especially with the lack of training. God, but it's insane that he would do that. But again, as you said, and it's a really good article if anyone hasn't read it, to go and check it out. So to kind of moving on, so you did that one trip to bring that stuff direct, but now you're setting up a channel, like an online kind of donation path. But you have, as you said, it's the bread and butter logistics. People on the ground, are actually getting this moving. There's none of the red tape as such, and you're getting it direct to the people that need it.
So it's direct action. So it's rapidresponseukraine.com. Now, if people want to directly help, unfortunately, Red Cross and UNICEF can't get to where we can now. There'll be a time for them.
Okay.
But at the moment, what we want to do is when Alex and Taurus and those lads take that journey 40 hours and risk their lives to get the goods to Maxime, that they have the most valuable load possible.
Okay.
That we fill it as much as possible.
Wow.
So we're now doing weekly runs from the border to Kharkiv. We verified all the channels. So the most direct way people can do isn't donation of clothes or nappies. They're not saving lives. The most direct to save lives is rapidresponseukraine.com. We can get a more valuable load there. Now that's one part of what we're doing. The second part is what that young lad Dean at the moment, I'm delighted to say, we're in much more than daily, hourly contact with Dean on the phone. He's in a town similar enough to the size of Sligo in the Ukraine, in Poland at the moment. He's currently using his Google Translate and he's finding out the needs of the refugees on the ground. Now we're matching Dean up with Sheila.
That's where Sheila comes in.
And this is where Sheila comes in, so
Sheila, you tell us what is your role, I suppose, from that point on then?
Well, ours is to find host families for the children and the mums that are coming to Sligo. Okay. So we've had lots of offers of accommodation, but we need a lot more. So we need shared accommodation, separate accommodation, granny flats, holiday homes, whatever. And we have a group of people that are experienced in it that dealt with the children of Chernobyl and host families. Okay. So we have people to talk to people and tell them what they might expect and their concerns or whatever else. But the thing they need to do is to come and register with us by email on rapidresponseukraine.com.
Rapid Response Ukraine.
Email is rapidresponse@gmail.com.
rapidresponseukraine@gmail.com. Okay, we'll put these all up on a little ticker on the video anyways.
Okay.
So if they message there saying, look, I can take in, and like, what's the reality? This is like, well, I could actually take 4, I could take 1. If you can only take 1, you say 1. If that means splitting the family a little bit, or is that kind of the way it goes, or how are you doing all that? Or
I think it's very hard for people to say exactly what they're going to do. So what we're going to say to them is just register with us on our Gmail account, and then we'll contact them and we'll talk them through what number of bedrooms they have, whether they'll be able to take young children, older children. Some people like to have children the same age as their own children. Some people, like to have pregnant mums, whatever else. We have basically so many families looking for a home. We'll be able to match you up with a family that suits. And we're looking for people, in the country, in the town, in the suburbs. And ideally, if you have a small community and your friend or your sister can take somebody, that would make it all the nicer, because we're trying to create a community for the people that are coming after all their travails to Sligo. To turmoil. And so if you have a few people in your community that would offer homes together, that would be even better. But we're grateful for any offers of support.
Are there people here yet?
We have in Carrick-on-Shannon, there are some people. We actually collected a group of 3 ladies and their children, 4 children, on Saturday night. We arrived in Carrick-on-Shannon at 3 a.m. on Saturday night, and we're expecting some more to boil today, actually coincidentally to my brother's house, who's a little bit in shock over it all. But he is getting a mum, her mum, a mum-in-law and 2 children. So, but he is, panicking a little bit, like I think a lot of host families. He went to the room and seen no TV because some of his kids took it to another room. So what we're saying to people is don't panic about those things. Where's the duvet and whatever else. We'll work all that out. The most thing they have to do is contact us by email on rapidresponse@gmail.com. rapidresponseukraine@gmail.com, and we'll take it from there. Or if they look up our social media pages, our telephone numbers and everything are there.
All there. Well, we can put them up at the end here as well, yeah. So to finish up, so just to make sure that people watching, I think with amazing, unbelievable story, you're amazing what you've done. I mean, especially with the logistics from you and Mark started, two guys through a poker community just set up this humanitarian aid link. It's mad story. It's a wonderful human story. Fair play to you all. But for people right now, it's just you want donations, and then you'll do all the buying of the proper stuff, and you'll do all the logistics. So it's donate.
It's donate. It's wartime, so it's cash money. Let's get the goods. Let's save lives directly, because we just happen to have this unique channel that can move quite fast. I think there's that, and then there's also what Sheila's doing on her side of things with the host families. And also, like, I think an important message there that mightn't be getting across on national media is it's not just about women and children, and okay, there's many different wars happening, and that's true, right? But it's not just about the women and children and their housing here. It's absolutely vital, and we felt this on the ground from the people we met from the Ukraine. It's absolutely vital that those men that are facing down the Russian tanks know that their women and children are safe and happy and comfortable, and that the Western world is looking after them.
God, yeah, you can't even imagine what they're going through. A month ago, or 6 weeks ago, the world was normal nearly. And now it's this. Well, listen, thanks so much for all you're doing. You know, it's amazing, and it's lovely to talk to you about it and hear what you're doing.
Yeah, I suppose one other thing that I'd say is that all of these families will have supports with them, so they will be entitled to social welfare. They're all willing to work, whatever else. So they want to be part of the community. They want to be at home in Ukraine. But while they're here, they're going to make the best of it. So they're not going to be a burden on any family. They're going to enhance their lives. And, you know, people are going to wonder why they ever thought, would they host a Ukrainian family?
I suppose it's an unnatural thing to go. I've never thought of doing it. It's like, but as you said, to understand if they have any questions or they're kind of half thinking about it, get in contact and email, and you can fill them in exactly what's involved.
A great example of what Sheila's saying. Taking a turn back to the Polish border, we're 5 hours going, 6 hours going 500 metres. The kids and their parents were waiting out in -4 degrees snow to get over the border. We were in a comfortable pickup. We were looking across at those kids. There was no one whinging, no one pulling out a mum. We went in the next day to the refugee centre with boxes of toys. 5,000 people in the refugee centre, and we bought toys, diaries, everything. We opened the boxes thinking this could be carnage, which it would be at home. They all queued up politely. They were so respectful, so thankful. These are beautiful, stoic, polite people. You know, they'll be, as Sheila said, they'll absolutely enrich our community.
It's hard to start visualizing. I said, if you've kids yourself as well, it must have been a very tough thing to watch as well. But as you said, amazing the way they were able to react as well.
Beautiful people, they'll do nothing but enhance our community here, and they're willing to work and get involved.
Perfect. Well, guys, again, well done on what you're doing, and if there's more we can help with plugging or promoting or doing anything for fundraise, we'll do it. And Rapid Response Ukraine on social media and the website.
And rapidresponseukraine.com for the donations.
For donations, Rapid Response. Okay, as I said, we put up the links. Listen, guys, lovely chat to you. Keep up the good work, and as I said, let us know if we can help.
Cheers.
Thanks very much. So again, we'll put up all the links later on, rapidresponseukraine.com, and as I said, all the details are on social media as well. Thank you, guys.